The ATP's tight tournament schedule is repeatedly criticized by the top players. My opinion on that in this video. I did have to struggle with jet lag for a few days after my return from Australia. This adjustment also took a few days for Yuri. For our team in Vienna, work with the players, of course, continued without interruption. It's nice to be at the big tournaments, but coming back and seeing the familiar faces you work with is also a joyful experience. The new year should also be used to draw the right conclusions from some past experiences and then act accordingly. In Yuri Rodionov's case, it means giving the periods between tournaments more time. That means playing fewer tournaments in the hope of then going into the competition better prepared. In reality, it is often easier said than done. The pressure for players not to play tournaments cannot be denied. Improvements in the ranking are only possible with tournaments, but at the level where Yuri is now, an average result in a challenger is not enough. To really make a leap forward, at least a final at a challenger is the goal, and that is only possible if you play good tennis that week. And that's where good preparation comes into play again. Nevertheless, it takes a lot of discipline on the part of the player to stick to such a plan. The tournament schedule always holds possible participations in store, and it is not always easy for players and coaches to overlook this. Sebastian Sorger takes this time to get into the new season with the best possible start. So far, the preparation is going according to plan. The progress in the physical and playing areas is recognizable. Sebastian should be ready to start the tournaments in March. His last competition will then have been over 5 months ago. This is of course a factor that should not be underestimated. We will of course try to compensate for the lack of matches with lots of sparring at the end of the preparation. But of course, it will be a different feeling to actually compete in the tournament. In the end, I think the season plan should be strongly based on the character of the player. For me, for example, it was no problem to play long tournament series or to win 2 tournaments in a row if I had the opportunity to do so. However, this is not the case for many players for various reasons. Top players have repeatedly complained about the ATP's packed tournament schedule. To be honest, my sympathy is limited here. With the Grand Slam and ATP 1000 tournaments, a player has a maximum of 19 tournament weeks, provided he always reaches the second week of the Grand Slam tournaments. With the ATP finals and other tournaments or the Davis Cup, 25 weeks of tournament play per year are possible. In comparison, lower ranked players have to play a lot more tournaments to improve or maintain their ranking. 30 to 35 tournaments per year are not uncommon. In addition, they may also have to play in the Davis Cup and in the league in various countries in order to be in a better financial position. Therefore, the players in the second row are exposed to much more stress. What's more, the top players often use their weeks off to play highly paid show events. The stress may not be the same, but it is also associated with traveling and an effort that is not beneficial for recovery. A tennis year on the ATP Tour is certainly long, there's no doubt about that. But there are always gaps in the tournament schedule for the top players, which can be used very well for regeneration. However, the points system ensures that players with a lower ranking are always under a certain amount of stress that pushes them of taking part in tournaments to improve their ranking. Consistent results in the form of quarterfinals or semifinals in challenger tournaments are not rewarded in the ranking. Therefore, the players who can participate in larger tournaments are somewhat protected. But everyone has to perform every year. Nothing is given to you. It is not possible to create a plan that satisfies all needs. Tennis is a popular world sport and the demand is high, which is certainly positive for the players. How this big cake is distributed is another question that also leaves room for discussion. Thank you for your interest and see you in the next video.